Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this past week's trades in the weekly recap. Before I get into the recap, if you're not in the room, you can find the link in the description of the video and in my bio section of social media accounts. Also, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I finished the week with 23 wins and 5 losses for a win rate of 82.14%, which is below my weekly goal of 85% plus. I've noticed that the market the first 30 minutes this week has been very trappy, so I've been I got trapped a few times and I kind of recognized it, and I'm kind of stayed away from it, or tried to at least. So with that said, we'll just get into the trades and start the recap. Now, trade ideas room on the 17th. I said, where is the 17th first of all? Right here, 17th right there. We're gonna, this big gap up pre-market overnight, well, Sunday into Monday morning. So I was thinking, I said in the trade ideas room, SPY puts into 361.50 and Tesla calls over 212. So it was a 351.60, which is right down here, right at the pre-market low. You have to accept that it was up here when I was talking about it. But I was thinking, okay, if it did have this run up and we did get below this area, maybe we come back down here to Friday's low and fill the gap from the weekend, from Friday. But it didn't. It just took off. So I didn't want to buy this massive green candle, especially after what? I will say 357.50 to, it's almost a $7 gap up. I don't really like chasing a $7 gap up. I really hate these monster gap up and gap downs, because when they gap up huge, most of the time they will sell off at open because people are taking profits. And if they gap down huge, everyone's piling into puts. So they people start piling into puts, they get more downside, which is possible, but you usually end up seeing an opening squeeze. So I hate these big gap downs, because it definitely changes the the dynamic of the play. So let's see. So I took SPY puts at 956, which is right here. You get this big green candle, didn't want to chase it. You get this little green candle right here, and it came below, and when it got below the 366.50 area, that's where I grabbed it. I grabbed the 367 puts at 234, and they went 234 to 236, 234 to 263. That's some reason I cannot speak right now, so bear with me. Then it tested VWAP, bounced off VWAP. I took calls at, I didn't want to take calls, but because we had this exaggerated candle, we did get a pullback. I feel more comfortable getting calls after a little bit of a pullback. I hate when it goes straight up with no pullbacks whatsoever. I do not like chasing those because they can dump at any moment. But because it did dump to VWAP and bounce, I did take calls over the 367 area. I took the 3,700 calls, SPX, at 760, and they went from 760 to 1160. So you get a $4 move on that pop right there. Of course, it was a fake out. Then I switched to puts at 1050, which is right here. It dumped, it broke out, ended up being a fake out, came back down right when it broke below VWAP, below the 366 area. That is where I grabbed the 3650 puts at 820, and they went from 820 to 1330 in that little dump. It did bounce off the 20 EMA, which is this blue line. So we got a nice another $5 move out of this drop right here. But 20 EMA did hold right here, so it did bounce off that. I didn't take calls off that. I wasn't too sure. But I did take puts at 1245, which is right here. Yeah, I remember this. Popped up, came back down. I thought for sure it was going to flush through VWAP right here. I kind of should have known better. I think I remember saying in the room that I shouldn't have taken it because of the 20 EMA, which is the blue line, and the white dashed line is VWAP. They were together. I know RCT's right there, but it wasn't there Monday. It adjusts every day. So it happens to be there right now, but it wasn't the case at the time. The 20 EMA and VWAP were together, and when you have two indicators that are together like this, they end up providing a strong support and strong resistance. Some reason I decided to go against it and grab puts here, and it ended up being my first loss for the week. So I had the 36.60 puts at 760. If I remember correctly, I wasn't in it with that much, probably because of that. But sometimes the market just usually when the market has a major flush or a big drop, it will come back, test the 20 EMA, then it will reject. But lately, it's been slicing through the VWAP and 20 EMA like nothing. So I kind of thought maybe it was going to do the same thing right here. I should have known better, but it is what it is. And so whenever you see two indicators together like this, that's usually a good sign for support and resistance. So I shouldn't have taken that. It's the trade I shouldn't have taken, but it is what it is. Last trade of the day, I took calls at 148, which is rate 148. Right here. This is where I screwed up. Pop back up. Once I get over this 367 area, that's where I did grab the calls. I changed sides. I got the 36.90 calls at 770, and they went from 779.10 right there. Of course, it didn't break out. It stayed within the range, and it just like stayed within the higher day in VWAP. So it was getting pinched between what $1.50. So we'll just have to see what happens on. I don't know. Anyways, Tuesday, the 18th, it did finally break out right there. We had this monster push. So let's see. Tuesday, traded his room. SPY puts under 373.50, which is rate 373.50. 373.50 must have been this low right here. I didn't want to use this low because you're up here at you're $5 away from this area. If I call the 370-ish area, $5 drop will be more than likely try to bounce off from that, especially if it was happened right away. But that's why I kind of moved it up a little bit. I will do that. So first 10-minute candle, I waited. In fact, I remember saying a couple of times that I was not going to wait the 10 minutes, that if it broke the levels, I was just going for it. I don't think it was this day. I think it was starting Wednesday. But anyways, took the 374 puts at 321 and the 940 candle. So right, the first 10-minute candle right here broke below this 373. I initially called this area, but because it popped right here, before open, we could have used this low right here of the 373.80. That's what I ended up doing. Once it broke below that area, that's where I grabbed the puts at 321. They went from 321 to 393 in that dump right there. Then I switched to calls at 1012, which is right here. Not quite sure why I did that. I could see if it got back up to 375. I got it. I'm not quite sure why I grabbed that there. So, yeah, another play I shouldn't have touched. I don't know why, but it is what it is. I'm not going to dwell on it, but I did stop out. I got it at the 37.70 calls at 850, and I stopped out at 4. The next play was, let's see, I took SPX 37.25 calls at 11.20, which is right down here. You can see this is Friday's higher day. This is why I ended up taking it. I think even the RCT trend line, which is this orange line, was up here further. If I remember correctly, I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, I grabbed the 37.25 calls at 790. It dropped down a little bit below. I did add more at 670, bringing my average to $7. And they went from $7 to $10.50 in that little pop right there. So that was a nice little play off from that. Right off Friday's highs in the RCT trend line, which I believe was up here at the time. Then I grabbed puts at 1223. Let me see, make sure my microphone's still working. For some reason I thought I shut off. 1223 I grabbed puts, which is right here, the 20 EMA rejection, which was kind of gutsy to take, but I did take it. I took the 3700 puts at 870, and they went from 870 to 1050 in that dump right there. Then I took 3710 puts at 770 at 1251, which is right 1251 right here. So I took it twice. One at 1223. Oh, 1223 is this candle right here. So I took it. Okay, this is the first play. Coming up short, I got that play right there. Then it popped back up to the 20 EMA, and this was the second one. This was the 3710 that went from 770 to 1710, which is a 100% move on that play right there. Then I took calls at 117, which is right here. You can see it came up short from the 20 EMA. Sometimes it doesn't always hit the moving average. Sometimes it comes up short. Sorry, the plane. I got the door open, windows open. Just have to wait for the plane to go by. Anyway, so it did come up short. It doesn't always touch, but it did come up short. I grabbed that little play. Then when it popped up and it touched and started to reject, that's why I grabbed it again. Then when it quickly came back up to the 20 EMA and it got below above this 371 area, that's when I switched to calls. I grabbed the 3730 calls at $7, and they went from 7 to 1260 in that push right there. So called it a day on that. I mean, I could have played more, but I just didn't want to. There's no reason to overtrade. Now on, let's see, Wednesday, Trade Ideas Room, I said SPY puts under 368 and Netflix calls of a 275. I should have taken Netflix because I believe Netflix took off that day. I'll have to check on the other chart. What day was that? Yeah, it took off the first couple candles. Yeah, so it is what it is. Plus, I didn't want to take, I do remember this, I didn't want to take Netflix calls when SPY is dumping here. I don't like going against the market because most of the stocks, 9 out of 10 stocks, run with the market. So if the market's dumping and Netflix is running, I don't really want to take it because it could be a massive fake out. But what ended up being fake out was the market. So I took SPY puts at 945, I believe, which was right down here. We get this big green candle. Once it came below that candle, I grabbed the 368 puts at $1.77. And as soon as I get in, it popped, went the other way. This has been the fake out that I noticed right away. So I did end up getting it, $1.77. I stopped it at 75 cents. Then I switched to calls at 1050, which is right 1050. Right at the VWAP, 200 EMA, 220 EMA. They're together. Same there, the white dash and the blue line, they're together. It did flush below it a little bit, but 1050. Yeah, I grabbed the 37.35 calls at 540. And it dropped below more. I added more to... What did I do here? Let me just see what I did as far as... What day was this? The 18th? 19th. I didn't sell any. Okay, because I got calls right here. What was the time again? 1050. So I got calls right here. I probably got it closer up here. I don't know why I did not sell it there or get out green right there. I should have. I don't know why I didn't. Then it dumped. Then I ended up adding more at 1148, which is right here. It dropped, came back and bounced up. I didn't sell. I didn't get out. It dropped back down. I averaged down more at 1148 when I thought it was going to come up right through VWAP right here. So I added more at $4, make my average 540. And then it just flushed. So that was 2 losses in a row, and just was not having a good day on, what day was the 19th? Was that Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday. So then I grabbed calls at 105, which is right here at the RCT trend line. If I remember correctly, that is why I grabbed it there. Plus, you have a huge pivot right here on the hourly. You can see that support, resistance, resistance, support, resistance. I mean, the 366 area is a pretty big area. So I grabbed calls, the 3680 calls at 105, which is down here. And I got them at 790, and they went from 790 to 1150. Then I grabbed calls again at a 157, which is right here. So I sold into this pop pullback. When I got back up here, I grabbed the 3685 calls, this time at 660, and then went from 660 to 1250. So you get a nice play. The last 2 plays were definitely good. Nice play down here and a nice little play right here into the 20 EMA. So didn't do that well as far as the first part of the day. The fake outs have just been ridiculous. It's been like that all week long. Then I did take Tesla puts. That was the first play on Wednesday. I did take Tesla puts on Wednesday. So at 940, which is right here. 942. What did I take? I took the Tesla 215 puts at $7.15. I know they had earnings. I was looking at it from the point of view that inflation is high. Interest rates have been going up all year long. Car loans are going to be expensive. Not too many people are going to be buying cars. Interest rates are going through the roof. People's mortgages are doubling and tripling. The auto sales are going to end up suffering from that. So to me, I thought, okay, because of what's been happening with the mortgage interest rates and inflation, that I think that it's going to be a miss. It's going to dump. And that's why I held on to the puts through the earnings. And they went from 715 to 1370. So that was almost 100% play right there on Tesla. Then I took Let's SPY puts at SPY got me again. Almost every loss I've taken this week has been, I scratched my head why I took the play, or it has been a fake out. So I took SPY puts at 936, which is right down here. I remember this. This is one I said I was not going to wait for it. If it broke the level, I was taking it. It broke the level. Got in with 367 puts at 290. And yeah, got in at 290. Then it reversed on me. Then I ended up averaging down at 10 o'clock, which is right here, when it started to wick and come back down. So I thought for sure I was going to average down. I added more at $2, make my average 218. In fact, yeah, 218. So then it just had this massive candle right here. So I ended up stopping out. So from 218 to 108, I ended up taking a loss on that. Then I ended up taking puts at 1009, which is right up here. Why did I take it at the 372 area? Blow this area up right here. 272, this is where it was having issues. The previous day's high, and it was resistance right here on Monday. Is this Monday? No, Tuesday. So then back it out a little more. Yeah, this is the area right here. You can see support right here, resistance right here. So there's a pretty big pivot at the 372 area. So I did grab puts right there. I grabbed the 3,700 puts at 670. Went from 670 to 780. Not much of a move. Then it popped back up. I grabbed. Not quite sure why I didn't get much out of that. What time did I grab it? 10:09. So I probably grabbed it closer to down here. I probably grabbed it right in here. I probably grabbed it right off this high right here. So I probably grabbed it right around the 371, 75 area. It popped up a little bit, and that's why I was only able to get 670 to 780 because it didn't go down. Then it popped back up. I grabbed puts again at 1117, which is right here when it broke below the 371. That's where I grabbed the 3710 puts at 760. And then went from 760 to 1350 to VWAP and 200 to 20 EMA. They've been grouping up a lot lately. So nice little dump on that. And then I took calls at 1210. 1210. Right off the 200 EMA. I took the 3,700 calls at 1050. And they went from 1050 to 1240 in that little play right there. As you can see, resistance, 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 then it's support. So you get a little bit of a pivot right here at the 368.70 area, and that's why I grabbed it. Especially when you have these long red candles right here. They'd like to retrace a little bit. Didn't retrace much, but get a little bit of a play. I played actually at the money. That's why they were so expensive. That's why I was almost able to get almost $2 out of that little move. Then it flushed down more. So I grabbed more calls at 119, which is right 119 right here. Yeah, right here for some reason. Low, pre-market low a day and previous day's low. I grabbed calls. I grabbed the 36.80 calls at $9. They went from $9 to $12. And that's why I bought it here. You can see the pre-market lows. Then it flushed right through again. I don't want to buy puts after it's already dumped from about 372 to 366 down here. It's too risky. So I ended up grabbing calls again. Last play of the day was 216? Right here. No, right here. Still in that 365 area. You can see this was the bigger area, 366, but get some stuff down here. We get some support right there, the 365 area. So 365 is just as big as you can see. It's support, resistance right here, resistance, then it's support right in here. So the 366, 365 area is pretty big. So when it got down in here, plus also being up 372, it's down $7.50. That's a pretty good range. Start looking for the other side. That's where I ended up grabbing the 360, the 36.65 calls at 370. Went from 370 to $13 right there. The 20 EMA has been holding up pretty well. I don't like chasing these big long red candles, so sometimes I start looking for areas where I can get like a small relief bounce. If you can time the bounces at the right areas and at the right indicators at the right time, you can get a nice little play. But I know they're really dangerous, and I just like doing that. And many people don't. If you don't like doing that, then just don't do it. So that's just how I do things. So definitely a good day. Tesla ended up being a really good play. Had some good plays on SPX. SPY has just been getting me the first half an hour every day this week. So it's been kind of crazy. So 21st, was that Friday? Yeah. Friday I decided to wait on SPY. I didn't take SPY. I took Tesla instead. I took Tesla right out of the gate. I sit in the trade ideas room on Tesla. Let's see, Tesla calls over 208, and SPY calls over 367. Now, the reason I was looking at Tesla calls, we had the big drop off from ER, and look, it just raged up and rejected off the 200 EMA. Every time lately, when you have dumps from earnings, they just end up rebounding or they just pop and drop. So this ended up dropping, and then it ended up having a V rally, then ended up giving most back at the end of the day. So I was like, okay, we're probably going to get a pop out of this. I mean, Tesla is just one of those cult stocks that just does whatever it wants to do and just doesn't follow reality, I guess you could say. So I would not be a bit surprised if it did break 206 and 208 area. 208, which was right here from this level in pre-market, but once, and plus it was a little over PDC, which is previous day's close, a solid white line. So as soon as I got over the 208, I grabbed the 210 calls at 190, and they went from 190 to 237. So that was a nice little play. I waited till 1021 for SPY. I tried to wait out the first 10 minutes because it's been so trappy. So right here it dropped, and I probably, well, I mean, I shouldn't have grabbed puts right there. I would have waited underneath this area, but I did grab puts at 1021, which is right here. This candle right here, you can see it popped up, rejected the 370 area, had trouble the day before, had the red candle right here. I waited for the red candle to form, and I told the room as soon as, if the next candle forms, I mean, obviously this has to be red. If this red candle forms, I was going to take puts on the next low, below this low right here. So this candle right here would have to be below 369.25. As soon as it broke that, I jumped in and I grabbed the 370 puts at 220, and then went from 220 to 344 on that dump. Then I grabbed puts again at 1057, which is right here. It popped up, bounced off the off the VWAP. As soon as it came through VWAP again, that's where I grabbed the 3650 puts at $7, and then went from $7 to 1090 right there. Bounced off the 200 EMA and 20 EMA. 20 is the blue, 200 is the purple. It bounced off those. I didn't touch calls here. I probably should have, but I grabbed puts again at what? At 1150, which is right here. I got it at the higher day. Right at the higher day rejection. It popped up a little bit, then it came back down. So I had the 3720 puts at 920, and they went from 920 to 1170 in that little drop right there. So I got it like right in here, and I got a little bit of a pullback, not too much. I'm glad I took and got out because I just raged more. Then I switched. No, I didn't switch to calls. I grabbed puts again at let's see, 207, which is right here. Now I remember this. There was an hourly 200, the 200 EMA hourly. I mean, it's not showing here because I'm on SPY and I have after hours on. But if you take off, well, obviously there's no. I'll just pull it up anyways. SPX. For some reason that my 200 EMA is different area than what it is on. Just looking at something really quick. Oh, I can't look at it. Anyways, yeah, I can't show you that. For some reason, the 200 EMA was there at the 375 level, and I took it right off that right here, 373 level. That's where I ended up taking the 200 EMA rejection on the hourly. 3740 puts at 880, and they went from 880 to 1380, so I got almost like $5 out of that play. Then ended up raging more after that. But yeah, some reason I don't know why, but I did remember saying in the room, excuse me, that I was taking the 200 EMA rejection plus. I mean, look at this huge rising wedge. I mean, this thing is just out of control. And rising wedges are not bullish, they're bearish. Even though I did keep going, they can break out of rising wedges, but I was looking at it from the point of view, you got all this resistance right here at the 373 area, 374, 373 area. Then you have the 200 EMA on the hourly, and in a rising wedge. To me, it seemed like a gimme, so I took it. It ended up being a nice $5 move. Then it kind of consolidated right here, and it just ended up popping into close. But kind of a crazy day, crazy week. 2 or 3 plays, at least two plays I shouldn't have taken. 2 more faked out. So all the losses this week were kind of avoidable, but part of trading, it is what it is. And so with that said, that's going to do it for the recap. I hope this has helped. Hopefully next week will be better. It won't be as many fake outs, but I think we're going to have a strong week, but I'll get into that when I do the watch list. But that's going to do it for the recap, and thanks for watching.